Hi everyone, Scorp here. Starting a playthrough of the Project Gemini Duelist Roses mod that I've been putting together. This is like one of my final beta tests personally, with others starting to play it and giving me feedback. I'll incorporate that before I do the final release, but this is basically going to be a playthrough that's going to be about 90% or more of what the game will actually end up looking like. So, let's see here. So we're going to start out as usual. I am going to say that you almost entirely should start by siding with Kaiba. If you don't, you're going to be very, very sad. The names are correct. On these, the creatures are not. So basically the type's going to be right, but everything else is going to be wrong. I'm not going to play Buku because Buku is, it's very similar to the deck that Clovis gave us, except we have the ability to use passwords, so it's not going to be that incredibly bad. So I'm not going to use it. So go ahead and skip through this stuff. I believe I am starting with a Fiend deck this way, so it should be fun. So one of the choices that I have made is to let you use passwords. The passwords are for basically all of the absolutely garbage cards in this game. So, there are going to be a ton of really bad cards in these starter decks, but almost every single one of them is available in as passwords. So if you want duplicates of all of this garbage, which I'm sure everyone would like some duplicates of the better cards in their deck, you can get it. So what we're gonna need for Taya is probably about a 2200-ish. And it looks like we can kind of get there. So we'll go ahead and just try it. There's a lot of different directions you can go with these decks. Monster Eye is probably one of the weakest. So one of the things that I've been fighting with is trying to get Taya's deck cost to actually be high enough that you don't have to just go immediately put in a whole bunch of passwords to fight her. Because when I made her the first time, she had almost zero deck cost. It was really brutal. It was like 700. It was not nice. So this field takes a lot of inspiration from Clovis, but this is basically this is a later point in the future, where this place has kind of started to get run down. You can tell it's in the morning because actually it's the evening. This would be the west. So the sun's coming through over here, not as much on this side. And this is the stained glass shining through. Over here we have and over here we have some plants. Over here we have like a plant that fell through the window. And this one's just completely covered over by some moss or something. And this one's got like vines on it. So typical church, but that Clovis had, except it's modified a little to go against more of a beast warrior opponent, which I know it's not exactly what you'd expect from Taya, but she's basically playing a female deck. I don't think that's big enough. Is it? Nope. Okay. I definitely don't know my fusion very well. So her AI is gonna discard cards to try to get to fusions because there's a bunch of trash in her deck. But she's very consistent at playing stuff, so you know. Oh, that's not good. Okay. I was gonna be kind of concerned if she played an equip. One of the things I've had to add to her deck is a change of heart, so that she'd have higher deck cost. So she does have a change of heart in her deck. I've had to add some pretty nasty cards into several people's decks because of that. We're gonna see a lot of Neko Gals in this school. So one of the things that her deck has is an abundance of females. So if you needed to get females that aren't like Dancing Elf and Mystical Elf and that stuff, she is a great place to do it. Yeah, so basically these first couple people are pretty well meant so that you don't have to go and do a bunch of farming to go beat them. Ooh, we have an Axe of Despair in this deck? That's nice. I'll put it on the barrel, which will be pretty decent. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of leave, I want to go pretty slow in this playthrough, so I'm gonna just, like, kind of leave battle animations on and then just take it slow. I'll try to not do too much farming. But actually with this starter deck is one I'll probably actually have to do some farming on. What does everyone say in this game? The best way to win is to just hit your opponent in the face twice for 2,000 damage. So, just more. So she has a bunch of beasts in her deck. She's actually drawn pretty poorly. Because she usually plays Neko Gals almost like every single turn. So I think she just drew a little beast heavy, which is fine. I don't want her to be super consistent and super strong. I would honestly prefer these first couple people to be honestly pretty weak. So you don't think that you need to go do farming and stuff. But hey, a second 2,000 plus damage and we win the duel. One other thing, I have lowered the experience requirements for leveling up creatures even more than Clovis did. But as you can see in the slots here, one of the cards that I kind of want is Key Mace. Because Key Mace has a special ability. And of course I didn't get it. But Key Mace's special is to put all creatures in defense. And putting all of the creatures into defense mode is really convenient because that lets you you can beat over some stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to otherwise. So Taya, while she doesn't have like the most strongest cards, she has some good stuff to use as fusion fodder. So if you're looking for something good to use against the next guy, you got some options. So this needs to leave the deck. These are just not good. So let's see here. I don't think there's anything that I can really add to this deck that would make it immediately better. The Lunar Queen will be nice for, since I have Beasts in the deck, I could go into Neko Gals. So I have Dark Energy plus Axe and a Curse Breaker. Not terrible. I mean, I tried to make these starter decks better than they were for Clovis, but not tremendously useful. So that you didn't have to do too much farming, but you could do some farming if you wanted to. I also decided to start with a Beast Warrior leader for Taya, so you didn't have to immediately start with somebody that had a brutal set of leader abilities. So you had at least one person you could deal with. Now, this is another modified field from the Redux mod. So normally in the Redux mod, you would start here, and then the drawbridge would be open. But I have decided that, you know what? That drawbridge is actually just down and is closed. So there's a labyrinth tile there. And luckily for you, there's a tree that fell and broke the side of the castle for you. Unfortunately for a Fiend deck, that's not very useful. Also, unfortunately, I did put him at second admiral rank to kind of give him the... Basically, it's the same rank he was for Clovis. I wanted him to have open opponent's card with the extended support range still. Because it's brutal, honestly. I'm going to probably end up using Mabarrel as a deck leader, I believe. So we can take our time here. Neck Hunter would be another good option. I'm probably not going to go low level with Fiends. The terrain change is nice, but it's kind of awkward to use. So also Tristan's deck, he's honestly not very strong. But he does have some decent fusions in his deck. He'll make Judgman quite often. He can also make Performance of Sword, and on top of that, he can also make a Blackluster Soldier. I don't expect him to be making the Blackluster Soldier, though. I don't need this machine. Sometimes you just don't draw well. And this deck is gonna be on that list of didn't draw well quite often. Okay, what is it? Figured it was a negate attack. Oh. This thing's effect only works when it's flipped face up. Haha. Oh, hi Gaia. I left the Gaia fusion the same, but I did change a lot of the other fusions in the game for the ritual creatures to make them easier. This is looking like this duel is not going to go very well for me. There is really no good fusion here. I'd need a lot of stuff to get a whole lot stronger than where I am. So I assume he equipped the Gaia with an Invigoration, and then he's gaining another 300 from his leader. So I need to fight that outside of his leader range, but even then, I'm gonna have a hard time actually killing it. I'll have to Curse Breaker it. So I'm having trouble here figuring out how I could actually win this. So what I really need to do is I need to draw both Axe of Despair and Dark Energy. So I need to actually dump a bunch of cards. Oh, that will help a little. So I'll draw my Infinite Dismissal soon, I hope. And then what's probably going to happen, so I'm sure nobody's going to like this method of victory, but that's okay. Oh, if I used that dragon, I could have used it with a Chiron to make I could have made like that makes Sea King Dragon. So then I'd need another Chiron to make okay. So I'm gonna pretty much give up on actually killing this guy. I know I've pretty much just gotten rid of... I'm gonna get rid of the strongest thing in his deck by killing Gaia. But I'd have to go through forest terrain, which I can't change anymore, because my weather report's been used. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill this. And now since I'm ahead in life points, if I pass turns until the timer runs out, we win. And that also does another good thing for me, which is it gives my creatures some good experience. So I'll go ahead and flip these over just so that they can get experience too. I don't really need the Chimeras to get experience, so what I should do is pick a card that I actually would ever want to duplicate, like the Durdek, and go ahead and start passing turns with all of them face up. Which, this is going to be a very long time, so I am going to just skip through this for you, and I'll be back in what will be a couple seconds for you guys, but for me, it's probably going to be several minutes. So, one eternity later, we have defeated Tristan. It is nice to know that you can beat people this way, if you absolutely have to. Well, we got Gaia. Gaia's not very useful. Kind of wanted the negate attack just for reincarnation fodder. But hey, we got down Tristan, and that was only slightly annoying. But while we're here, I'm gonna go into the deck, and I'm gonna enter a password. Because we can. And I'm not going to enter too many passwords because when I did a playthrough of this to get every card, I had to enter a ton of passwords. But I wanted to get Neck Hunter so that I could have a second one in the deck. And I can start taking out some of the lesser usable cards, like that one. So I wanted to do that card, and I also wanted to do my barrel if I can. So that I have both an extra duplicate of each of those. Oh. I must have disabled that one. That's unfortunate. And then... So I guess I'm not going to grab a barrel. To note that down in my lists. I've done a ton of changes, so... and then the only other card that I wanted was, the eye. The monster eye. Oh, wait. I can't. That's reincarnation only. For some reason, I made that reincarnation only. Oh well. Okay. So now I have 2 creatures. I technically have enough power to beat Mai, but she'd be very difficult. So we'll see what we're gonna do next time. I might start with a little self-play or something, just to get the deck a little bit better. But for now, thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.